I'm actually sick at the time of filming this video. Like I'm physically sick with something, some viral infection or sinus thing or something like that. And that's going to be really relevant to the topic of today's video, which is in the first half of this video, I want to talk directly to anyone who's under the age of 30 who regularly consumes cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, anything like that, okay? In the second half of today's video, I want to speak directly to anyone who's over the age of 30, maybe you're in your 40s, your 50s, who's continuing to consume cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, and who might be struggling to quit those things, all right? I want to explain why when we consume drugs when we're younger, things can feel kind of good, it can be fun, and then why as we get older, things no longer feel so good, and why quitting becomes more challenging the older that we get in some cases. Now, if you wind up enjoying the content in today's video, be sure to check out the pinned comment and the links that I put there to learn more about our group coaching programs, our supplements, and our free PDF handouts to help people quit cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, stimulants, all things that I once struggled with. All right. So first and foremost, if you're under the age of 30, I started consuming nicotine and alcohol at a very young age, maybe like 16, 17 years old. And I was actually first exposed to adult media content even, I want to say in the 7th or 8th grade. And when I was younger and I was consuming alcohol, consuming nicotine, I started smoking weed when I was around the age of 21. I could consume copious or large quantities of these substances and still feel pretty good the next day, right? Like when I was 18 years old, I could drink liquor, I could mix it with beer, I could mix my liquor with Red Bull and vodkas, I could mix Monster energy drinks in with the liquor, the vodka, and I could drink that all night long, stay out at the bars until I'm in New York until 4 a.m., eat Jim's Steakout at 4:30 in the morning, and then I could wake up at like 7, 8 a.m. and go to work the next day at my retail job, okay? And largely I would feel fine. Like I'd be tired, but I wouldn't be hungover. At most, I'd maybe have a hangover for an hour or two, take an Advil, take an aspirin, and I'd be right back up on my feet. And the same thing went for weed. Like I could drink, I could smoke weed all night long, still get a really decent night's sleep or what felt like a decent night's sleep, and wake up pretty rested the next day feeling good. And I'd say I could do that pretty successfully right up until the age of about 25, 27 years old. And the thing is, when you're younger and you're consuming substances, your body is able to recover a lot faster, okay? Your liver, your kidneys, your gut, your lymphatic tissue, which is the stuff that detoxes all the poison from your body day to day, it's working at a really optimal rate because when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, your organs, your liver, your kidneys, your blood vessels, your heart, your lungs, they don't have a lot of wear and tear on them. They don't have a lot of mileage on them. Okay, I'll use like a car analogy. So when you expose them to alcohol or cannabis or nicotine, vape products, cigarettes, whatever, junk food, you can recover really quickly from that. Generally speaking, most people can when they're younger. That's why a hangover only lasts like a few hours because your liver can detox the byproducts of alcohol at a really quick rate when you're younger. Now, things start to change though as you get older, okay? And I want to use a quick example. Like if you've ever seen like a little kid, like a toddler, run around and fall over and hit their head or sprain their knee, they get back up and they're like totally fine. They recover almost immediately. But if you're like 40 years old and you fall down a set of stairs and you sprain your knee, you might need surgery or that injury might not heal really quickly. It might take a really long time to heal because your body isn't able to heal as quickly, as rapidly, okay? So let me compare this to substances. So what happened was I was regularly using these drugs when I was younger. I felt good. I felt good. I was having a good time. And then as I continued to smoke weed, drink alcohol, watch adult media content even, my tolerance went up. I started to develop a dependence and an addiction to many of these different drugs. And now as I was getting older, consuming them, I had to consume them in larger and larger quantities because my tolerance went up. and I had this addiction and this dependence, but suddenly drug consumption didn't feel so good anymore. And one of the main reasons for this is simply because as we age, our liver, our kidneys, our lymphatic tissue, our lungs, all of these organs have a greater level of wear and tear. It's like we got increased mileage on the car, right? And your liver isn't able to detox all of these byproducts and poisonous byproducts at the same rate that it was when you were once younger. But the problem is now, here you are getting older, 25 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old, 60 years old, and your body can't process stuff the same. That's why as people get older, the classic example would be alcohol. People consume alcohol, and a hangover goes from lasting a day to lasting like 2 or 3 days when you get older. And it's not that you're weaker, but your body can't tolerate alcohol the same. Your liver isn't able to detox the alcohol the same way it was when you were 18. So that hangover, your body, you were poisoned, right? That poisoning lasts longer because your body isn't able to clear out all the crap at the same rate it once was, and now you feel worse. This is where it gets even more complicated for people. So here you are, now you're older, you have an addiction, a dependence, your tolerance is higher, so you're consuming more of the drug. You feel worse and worse and worse every time you consume it, but in your mind, it's like, oh my God, I feel so bad, I just want to feel better. And here we are continuing to consume the drugs in hopes of feeling better or in hopes of feeling good like we once did when we were younger. But the reality is your body physically can't keep up with it anymore. And this is its way of letting you know you feel like crap. And in an attempt to feel better because of that manipulation and delusion that addiction has a person under, myself once included, we consume more of the drug in hopes of feeling better. And this is where people find themselves in this cycle of addiction. And my advice to anyone who's in their 30s, I would just say, or under 30, just be very, very careful of this. Because how you feel today consuming the drug is probably not how you're going to feel when you're in your 40s and your 50s and your later 30s. So be very careful of that, because if you're developing an addiction and you're practicing addictive behaviors and you're developing a dependence and you're developing a tolerance where you need more and more of the drug to get the same effect, you might find by the time you're 35, 40, 50 years old that you're trying to quit and you get stuck in this cycle that I'm talking about, okay? Now, there's another thing that changes too as we age. When you're younger, your environment's very different. Maybe you're in college, but generally speaking, people who are younger, you don't have the bills, you don't have the work stress and pressure, you don't have kids, you don't have the family stress and pressure. Your environment is very, very different, and that environment changes. The stressors in your life change. The responsibilities in your life change as you get older. And what happens is, here we are trying to accommodate this drug use, whether it's pornography, cannabis, alcohol, nicotine, and we're trying to make something work in our current environment as someone who's 35, 40, 50 years old that worked when we were 18 or 20 years old. The stress and a person's tolerance for stress as they get older, because they've started to take on so many different responsibilities and so many different circumstances, and maybe you've had health crises or things that you faced, it doesn't leave a lot left over for drug use, mentally or physically, okay? And what happens is people try and make this continued drug use fit in their lifestyle as they've aged, in the new environment, in the new circumstances, in the presence of the new stressors, and it doesn't work. It doesn't fit anymore. And then people find themselves trying to force something to fit, aka drug use, that just no longer works in their current environment or circumstances. And this is a major issue, because then people are like stuck in this cycle of addiction. They're trying to balance all these other responsibilities in life, and they feel like crap, so they're consuming the drug in hopes of it making them feel good again, once like when they were young, and it just doesn't work out. And this is what we help people with. This is what we help people do. Now, I say this is good timing being sick when I'm filming this because when I was like 18, 20 years old, I could drink all night, smoke a bunch of weed, get a sinus infection, a viral infection, and I would bounce back like that, right? 2 or 3 days, maybe I'd be tired and then I'd bounce right back. Now, being slightly older, it takes my body a longer time to recover from illness, from things like that. This is a major reason why I don't smoke, why I don't drink, why I don't vape anymore, because life throws things at you, and I want to be as best prepared as possible to handle those things, even if it's something like a sinus infection or a cold, right? So I try and put myself in a position where I can handle the challenges versus add injury to insult, right? So like if I was still drinking heavily and smoking weed now at this point in my life, I would not be recovering from this in any way, shape, or form, okay? And that's kind of what I said. This is good timing to film this video because it's like, it makes me think when I was younger, I used to recover a lot quicker. Now it's not exactly the same. So I try to make choices to help me feel better. Now, if you need help with this, or you're stuck in this situation where you're younger and you want to stop but you can't, or you're older and you're stuck in this cycle of tolerance, addiction, and dependence, I can help you quit. I've been there. I've been through it. I can help you. I'm very dedicated to this stuff. We have group coaching hosted on school.com. It's $27 a month. I interact with you privately inside the DMs, and I interact with everyone in a group setting to help people. $27 a month. You can find the link in the pinned comment. We have supplements. We sell a chewing gum supplement, Kick It, Crave Less chewing gum, and we sell breathing products and other tools to help people quit these things. You can find the link for that in the pinned comment. And then for those who want to just like power through this and get to a solution as quickly as possible, we have our one-on-one coaching programs and our one-on-one Q&A sessions where you're in a private setting with just me. Those are a bit more expensive, but they have a money-back guarantee, okay? So if you need help, check the links in the pinned comment. And at the very least, download some of our workbooks, get on our email list, and I'm sure you're going to find information that I send out that will help you, okay? Until next time, hopefully I'll be in better shape by the next video I make. But then again, even if I'm not, I'm still going to keep filming because, I enjoy doing this stuff. Bye.